name is Rich Pryor. I'm from Mogg Watch in North East Somerset. And I'm grateful for this opportunity, and I'm really grateful to MP Watch. Some of us are unfortunate in life, having different afflictions imposed on us. Many people I know, including me, have the unenviable misfortune to have a certain Jacob Rees-Mogg as our MP. Thank you. With his elite outlook on life, he does not represent us, but critically his views on the impending climate catastrophe and his denialism is unacceptable in the face of climate catastrophe. As we all know, we are experiencing now this climate catastrophe, and it's already causing destruction and death. Rather than acting now, he is destroying our beautiful planet through his complacency, lack of action, and financial investing directly into fossil fuels. He's actually making loads of money from destroying our planet. Just want to, in my imagination, imagine there's an eco-war trial in the future. These would be some of the charges against Jacob Rees-Mogg. In October 2013, in the Daily Telegraph, he criticised the UK government policy in their bid to move away from cheap and dirty forms of energy such as coal. He claimed this was climate alarmism. He had the audacity to criticise the Met Office climate models for being inaccurate. In January 2014, he was saying that people are realising that they want cheap energy, not more environmental regulation. He was actually referred to the Parliamentary Standards Watchdog for failing to declare that he was a founder, partner and director of Somerset Capital Management. They held investments of about 3 million in mining firms, 2.4 million in oil and gas production, as well as 23 million in tobacco companies. There were accusations he was using his position as MP to promote his own business interests, as if. He's supposed to be working as an MP, but he earned about £500,000 back then from a second job with this London-based hedge fund, making money from tobacco, oil and coal. It's quite clear to me that creating personal wealth is Rees-Mogg's top priority in life. No doubt. He rejected the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, asserting, it's quite unbelievable really, if you were to take action now to try and stop man-made global warming, it would have no effect for hundreds or possibly thousands of years. And what little steps you make now is unrealistic and the cost unaffordable. So climate change is affordable. So what planet is he on? In 2017, he quite absurdly said, I think you need to look at ameliorating the consequences of anything that may happen, like dredging the rivers on Somerset levels, so the floodwaters have some means to escape. Doing that on a wider scale. I'm not sure how dikes would help, and using the model in Holland that he recommended. And he thought rather than going back to living in the Stone Age by reducing people's use of energy, it would be better to carry on as we are burning fossil fuels. He added, I would like my constituents, that's me and some people here, I would like my constituents to have cheap energy rather more than I would like them to have windmills. It would be laughable if it wasn't so serious. Actually, doing outreach in his constituency, I found the most common reaction to his name. If you mention Jacob Rees-Mogg, most people laugh. Well, personally, I don't want a comedian as our MP, and certainly not him. Rees-Mogg was elected to lead the influential European research group, which helped set up the Net Zero Scrutiny Group, which has close links to Global Warming Policy Foundation, a lobbyist group that has been accused of denying climate science, and as we've heard, they're based here. December 2019, Rees-Mogg did not attend any of the climate hustings in his constituency before the last election, whereas all the other main parties were represented there, because clearly he had not a lot to say about these issues. In May 2020, a number of his constituents wrote to him making 13 suggestions as to how we could reduce our carbon footprint. He only responded when prompted and ignored all our suggestions and came up with no solutions whatsoever to improve the situation. About a year ago, in his interview on LBC radio here in London, he said we need to be thinking about extracting every last cubic inch of gas from the North Sea because we want security of supply, and 2050 is a long time off. We are not trying to become a net zero tomorrow. We are not going to need fossil fuels in the interim, and we should use that, and we should use ours that we have got available. Actually, not the case. Clearly his main idea was just to make money out of his investments in the North Sea. So regarding the cost of living crisis, he claimed that climate alarmism is responsible for high energy prices. Again, laughable. And that it was unrealistic for scientists to project future climate changes as meteorologists struggle to correctly predict the weather. Rees-Mogg has been publicly dismissive of worries regarding fracking, saying the opposition to fracking is hysteria and often based around the public not understanding science. Well, he's a fine one to talk about not understanding science. He also suggested some of the opposing groups to fracking were funded by Russia. Make it up. I, to be honest, often feel that there's parallels with the fuel industry, with that of the slave trade. Fortunately, I'm not aware of any Rees-Mogg statues around the place, but if there were, we all remember what we did to Colston's statue in Bristol. So I want to wrap up here. I just ask you, would you want him as your MP? No! We certainly do not. And thank you, MP Watch, for all you're doing. And what we do need is climate action. And when do we want it? Now! Thank you. Thank you.